please focus with me. So what you see here is the interface. Here's the scene, the game. One thing that's very important is the console, hierarchy, and the project. So basically what I'm going to search for firsthand is to search in the Unity registry. I hope that this will not take long. And here they are. What I have here is two things. NetCode, where is it? LMN, NetCode. Yeah, here it is. So what you see is that NetCode is installed. It's this version 1.11. And the other one is multiplayer tools. So here you have it. Then, what I'm going to do is first create an empty object. You see? Right, so multiplayer manager. So what you could notice is that I'm trying to keep the names on capital letters and also consider camel case writing. What I mean by camel case is writing the first letter and the second letter are always in capital, and they are related. So what I'm going to do right now is to add a component, and I'm going to search for netcode. C, and then what I have is to search for something called network manager. I click on it, and what happens is that I have this component. It's a heavy component. Here's what I have. Then, what I have to find is something related to the player. Where is my player? So I have to create it. Let's go and create the player. Create empty. Maybe I'll create 3D object. I make it a capsule, and I will name it player test. So this is the player, and I'm going to add another netcode element that's called network object. So please check with me. I have object, rigid body, so I could share a rigid body. If my player has a rigid body, so if it could fall, and I want to propagate this animation within the network, I have to add this component. I will, for the moment, maybe I would add a player network transform. For the moment, I will add network object. So this is a network object, and I will, what I'm do, you know, when I tap on play, everything that I have in the scene will appear. But I don't want to show the player when I tap on play. I want it to come to join the scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to a folder called prefabs. So I'm going to drag it on the prefabs. Now I have my player as a prefab, as an asset, as a resource. Now I can delete it. And what I can do is that I can program the code to access the resources not from the scene, but rather from the library. Is clear? So I'm accessing the library, not the scene. So I'm going to access this resource, and I'm going back to my player, and I'm going to drag it. Here it is. It works. So one thing you know about Unity is that you have to get the right type. You cannot place a different type of object in one field. You have to get the same type in order for this drag and drop to work. So for instance, I cannot drag for, let's see what I have. Can I drag and drop this element? It cannot. I can only drag the right type of element. So let's try and see what happens. When I tap on play, actually it's working, but nothing is displayed. I don't have the elements that show the buttons to start as a server or as a client. So here comes the role of this script, the other one. So what this script actually makes, it creates 3 buttons, and each one of the buttons is going to activate one state, host or server or client. So I'm going to create this code, I'm going to copy it. So I'll drag it, drop, it's hello world. I'll copy it, and I'm going to create a folder named scripts, and I'm going to create a new script. It has to be named hello world manager, hello test manager. I tap on enter. One thing cool here is that I have Visual Studio. You know, there's Visual Code and there's Visual Studio. This is Visual Studio. This is way better for me. So I'm going to pass this code and I'm going to try to correct the name of the class. So this is the new name of the class that I did use, this one. And I think I could get rid of the others. So the only thing I have is Unity Engine and Unity.NET Code. And that's it. I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to drag and drop this code here. So you know, there are multiple ways to add a component to a game object. So this is a game object, and I could add a component this way. Scripts, and I'm going to search for Hello Test Manager. This is the script that I did create. This is one way. Or I could just drag and drop it here, or drag and drop it there. And this is almost the same. I have two elements, so I could delete one. Remove component. Let's tap on play and see what happens. Console. So it seems to work correctly, but I have to search for the select transport. Yeah, I did select transport. Please focus on this. Control Z. On the network manager, I have to select a transport. So this is the layer that Unity created so that you do not have to exchange on TCP, IP, UDP. You just get it and work with it. You do not have to make a network programming. So I click on it. Let's try again. I'm expecting to see an error. No, it doesn't show. It's working correctly. So what you see here is basically what's required. And the other thing that you need to do is to create this script on the player. So please try this one and let's see the results. That's it.